Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel Slife. I call myself the nail therapist and I use a natural approach to restore your nails to their healthiest state. Today I'm going to take you through a pedicure where a young guy, he's a freshman in college, came in, his mom brought him in, and he's had some issues with his other foot, not this one that you see now, his toenail. And so I'm going to take you through basically just a moisture pedicure. And so you'll see me doing all the normal things that I do, pushing the cuticle back, trimming the nail, buffing, and removing excess cuticle. The other foot is where the interesting stuff happens, so stay tuned for that, and we'll talk to you in a little bit about all of that information. As you can imagine, this 19-year-old has never had a pedicure before, so I'm just explaining to him what this tool is that I'm using and what it's going to do. With him, I started off soaking, which I don't normally do, and I did that because he showed me his other foot before he got started, and there's an inflamed area, and so I wanted to sort of soak him in a cleansing foot bath to try and reduce the inflammation a little bit before working on him, especially trying to get his toenail a little bit more softened just in case there was an ingrown situation that I had to work on. Because he soaked first, the cuticles are swelled with water, and so the e-file isn't quite as efficient in removing the cuticle, but luckily he doesn't have much cuticle to begin with, so I didn't have to do a ton of work on him. But generally speaking, I start people off dry because it's easier to remove the cuticle with the e-file when the skin is very dry. It just flakes right off. And I'm using the Long and Lean barrel bit by Erica's ATA. I don't have an affiliate link with them. That's just the brand that I use, so I don't get paid to recommend anything. I'm just letting you know that's what I'm using here. I'm explaining to him exactly what I'm doing while I'm doing it, and so yes, I talk with my hands a little bit. So sorry about all the pauses with the hand gestures. That's just me being expressive with my clients. So a little background on this client. He is an athlete. He was a baseball player in high school, and he still goes to the gym and does a lot of working out. And he's noticed that his big toenails feel pinched, and the left toenail, which you'll see coming up, was really inflamed. And so about 6 months ago, maybe, he decided to try and cut down the side of the nail to relieve the pain from the pressure of the nail that was pinching him. And it has been inflamed and infected ever since. So we were discussing a lot about footwear, and the sneakers that he currently works out in have a more pointed toe box. It's not super tight, but it doesn't allow for his toes to splay fully, and the large toes on both feet are starting to already angle in, because when you're an athlete as a kid, these cleats that they make you wear really squish you in, and so, you know, wearing them 4 or 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week, it can really do a number on the formation of the bones and how the toes, you know, whether or not they stay straight or whether or not they curve in. And so his are tending to curve inward, and that kind of puts a lot more stress on the metatarsal, and obviously is not the correct alignment for his foot. So we discussed a lot about finding a different sneaker that has a squarer toe box, so that when he, and about a half a size or a size up, so that whenever his feet do swell when he's working out, he's able to have the space in the toe box for his toes to splay out and be more of a neutral, natural position, as opposed to being squished in there like sardines. Just in case you're wondering, that little white patch right there is not loose skin. It's just dry skin that's attached to the cuticle. So when I come in here and remove some of the stuff that I'm pulling out from underneath the nail, I don't go after that white patch that I just pointed out, because it's actually part of the skin, and it's live skin. It's just really dry. On this right side of the nail, there is a little half break. It's not a full break. There's just a couple layers of the nail that is cracked along the side, and you'll get a better view of that in a minute. And so I was just trying to see if I could file it down, like buff it out, but it doesn't fully remove. But I wanted to make sure it didn't snag on anything so that it didn't rip and tear later. Okay, so this is the money foot. This is the one we had the problems on. And you can see right there, it's inflamed, it's bulbous. There's something brewing underneath that scab. So I'm going to be very gentle as I work around it, just taking care that I don't tear it off or disrupt the healing process in any way. You can see how far down the nail is detached on that right side, and that is because of how much he's been digging at the side of the nail to try and relieve the pain. So the nail bed is detached away from the nail, and when that happens, it's really hard to get the nail bed to reattach, but hopefully as it heals up, he'll have it reattached and won't be an issue anymore. I just want to apologize for the out of frame picture of this nail. It's like, so I get into a zone and I don't always pay attention to what the camera is doing, and so I really apologize for that. But hopefully you'll be able to see most of what I end up doing, and I'll talk to you about it too. So because he's been soaking, the white skin, I kind of could see that it was sort of dead skin, so I took a little chance and I tried to use the e-file to gently see if the top layer of the scab might peel off. But as you can see, it's not really going anywhere, and I didn't want to force it because Lord knows what's underneath that, and I did not want to have him bleeding on in my chair. So I used a little bit of caution and just kept going. This is the nail that gives him the most issue, obviously. The side that I'm working on right now doesn't seem to have any problems. There's no spicule or anything digging into the skin. Just wanted to clean out all the debris. And you can see on the side of the toe there is a callus forming, and that is where the shoe pushes his toe inward towards his other toes. And then the opposite side of the nail where the infection is where all the pressure goes, and so it builds up over time, and that is partly the reason why he has such a problem with the toenail pain. So again, the shoe wear is going to be a big component to his success in relieving the pain that he has in his feet. As I'm starting to dig underneath here to see if there's anything digging into his skin, you can tell that it's very uncomfortable for him. And, I'm pulling the skin back here to see if I can, locate the edge of the nail, and it looks fine. There's no obvious piece of nail sticking into the skin. And when I bring the toenail cleaner underneath the nail, there's no hang up or hook. So, it wasn't clear to me what was causing this infection. As far as the nail is concerned, it doesn't look like there's anything going on. I'm just trying to be extra thorough here just to make sure that I'm seeing what I'm seeing, and yeah, there is nothing there. in a second here, the camera's going to get knocked and I'm not going to realize it. So I apologize once again that here I am working off screen. Basically, all I'm doing is trying to determine whether or not I can snip any of this skin safely off the scabby area and just clean up the rest of the cuticle. At this point, I'm thinking that I'm not going to do much else for this kid. I'm just going to clean it as best I can, and we talked a lot about going to see the podiatrist and what that could potentially look like for him. I did have one other client who was a teenager come in and he had like a similar presentation where he was complaining of nail pain, but when I was doing his pedicure on both sides of the nail, I could not see any nail growing into the skin. He ended up going to the podiatrist and they ended up doing a partial nail removal or ingrown toenail removal. So I was kind of warning this client that might happen. At the end of it, I was thinking that maybe there was a piece of nail that was growing into the skin from underneath, the underneath side. So that's why I'm kind of going underneath right now and determining whether or not my tool is getting stuck. He did end up going to the podiatrist the next day, and it was determined that there was an active wound or infection underneath that scab. So the doctor did some silver nitrate and gave an antibiotic ointment, and apparently it's clearing up really well. So hope you guys learned something, and I certainly did. I will see you next time for another exciting pedicure.